What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one, and this one is, recently Joker director Todd Phillips went on Vanity Fair and broke down the opening scene to the Joker. Not only did he reveal what he was thinking when he shot the scene, but he also revealed a few hidden twists that people did not know about. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how the opening scene foreshadows the ending of this movie. Now, if you want to hear the full Vanity Fair interview, definitely check it out on YouTube. I will have the link to that video in the description. I think it's well worth checking out. He reveals a lot of hidden gems, and if you're into movie making or into how movies are being made, I think it's a must watch. So definitely check out the Vanity Fair interview. Now, I believe in this video, he does reveal a few things that point to the end of the movie. Now, he has said in other interviews that he will reveal exactly what the ending is at a later date. So don't expect him to give it all away from this video. I'm going to read in between the lines of what he said and tell you exactly how I feel and how I think he gave away the ending in this opening scene. So this is what he says in the interview.
So I always obsess over the opening shots of movies, my movies, the movies I watch. I think it's a great way, it's a great storytelling device, the very opening of a film. We have the benefit in this scene of the local news playing underneath it, and we meet Arthur there alone at the mirror as he's putting on his makeup.
So in this opening scene, we hear the news talking about a garbage strike that's going on, and even the nicest neighborhoods are looking like slums. So the whole city is falling into chaos. And then we are shown Arthur putting on his makeup. Now, the thing about it is that obviously we're going to see him put on a different form of makeup by the end of the movie. But when we look at this scene of him putting on his makeup, the most distinctive thing that we see here is a tear come off his face, that he's trying to force a smile out of himself in this clown makeup, but he cannot hide back his tears. But at the end of the movie, we see him in makeup, and he is the happiest he's ever been. He's free when he becomes the Joker finally at the end of the movie, and he's dancing all over the place. He goes on the talk show. He's the life of the talk show. He kisses the woman who looks like Dr. Ruth on the talk show, and we see him do the exact same thing or fantasize about that exact same thing when he sees his neighbor and he goes and he kisses her. Both situations never happen, and that's why I have told you in my last video, and I'm going to explain to you in this video, that everything that we are seeing is just all a figment of his imagination. He's just thinking of all this stuff while he's sitting there at the end talking to his guidance counselor, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it. This movie is all in his head. Now, that some of these things didn't actually happen because they did happen. Some things are 100% true, but some things are his fantasy, his imagination on how he would have handled the situation if he could. Case in point, let's take the subway shooting. I'm going to explain to you now exactly why that did not happen at all. And I'm going to use the opening scene in this movie to prove my point. Now, in the opening scene of this movie, we see him get robbed by 5 children. There's 5 of them that rob him of his sign. Now, this scene does actually happen, but for getting robbed, which was not his fault, of this sign, he's the one who has to pay the price. He basically gets in trouble from his boss and gets his pay docked because of this. Now, when dealing with the subway robbery, that is a reflection of this, but the way he wished it would have played out. Now, he wasn't going to have himself shoot little kids in there, but it was the adults, and I'll explain to you. Now, as I said, there were 5 people who robbed him, 5 kids who robbed him in the scene. But as you can see, when he's being assaulted, only 3 of the 5 are the ones that kick him. And I want you to focus on the position that he's laying in when he's getting beat up. So even though there were 5 kids there that started the whole thing, it was 3 that beat him up. And then he's left there holding his stomach and holding his crotch with his hands while he's laying on the floor. Now listen to the story that you have to believe about the train. You have 3 guys, right? It's 3 guys that are messing with this one lady. And him and this lady are the only 2 people that are in this subway car. And it's not 10, it's not 11, it's not 4, it's not 2 people that beat him up. It just happens to be the exact same number of people that beat him up. Now remember, there was 5 people that robbed him, but only 3 beat him up. And when he gets beat up in this train, it just happens to be 3 people that beat him up again. Not only do they beat him up again, but when he falls on the floor, he falls in the exact same position with one hand on his stomach and the other hand between his legs, while the guys step all over him and kick him, just like the kids stepped all over him and kicked him. Now, I'm not going to show you that footage because that's on the internet. If you want to find a bootleg copy of it, you can, but trust me, that's exactly what happened. But this time, when they do that to him, instead of just taking it and getting beat up, he turns around with a gun and he shoots and he kills them. Which never happens because he never has a gun in this movie. Now, proof that he doesn't have a gun in this movie is this. When he fires the shot inside of his apartment and his mom hears him and he puts a hole in the wall. Later, when they show that same scene, the same place he was supposedly put a hole in the wall, there is no hole in the wall. And although we hear his mom say something, she doesn't happen to be in the room at this particular time. Just like when he sees himself on Murray's TV show and he's getting made fun of, his mom is in the room, but she's basically in a coma, so she can't see exactly what's going on. 2 fantasies with his mom around, but not really around. And he basically spells this whole thing out for you in his dialogue in the movie.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
And who does he tell that to? A black psychiatrist woman. And who is he talking to at the end of the movie? A black psychiatrist woman, which is the first person that he actually kills throughout this whole movie. But you tell me in the comment section, do you think that this whole movie was just a figment of this man's imagination? Was he just going through this with his psychiatrist like I'm saying? Or do you have another theory? Put it in your comments, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and let's talk about it. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.